Welcome to the D-VELO-P-cyclingtrainingpodcast, where we untangle the complexities of peak performance in cycling. My name is Fredrik Eriksson, and together with my partner in crime, Erik Åkesson, we are the dorky coaching duo who will be your hosts.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the D-VELO-P Cycling Training Podcast. My name is Erik.
And I'm Fredrik, and I am a tired guy today because I arrived home at 3 in the morning after my late flight from the World Mountain Bike World Cup in Leogang this weekend. So I'm a bit off today, but I will try to keep my senses.
Yeah, and you have a lack of sleep, and the sleep is actually something we're gonna talk a bit about in today's episode. We're gonna discuss an article named "Did You Know Erythropoiesis is Regulated by Changes in Posture?" And that one is written by Oscar Massa and his colleagues, and Carsten Lundby from Norway. And is published in Acta Physiologica in May this year. So it's pretty new study from our friends in Denmark and Norway.
Yeah, and they seem to be up to a lot of things regarding how we can manipulate our body to produce more red blood cells and specifically more hemoglobin. Which is the oxygen carrying part of the blood. They've been up to a lot of studies when it comes to altitude and heat, and now this, which is a quite fascinating concept.
Yeah, they're so interested in marginal gains that they actually study marginal gains while we sleep. And that is what today's article is about. And in this one, they had nine members of the group they researched who slept normally on a flat bed, or the bed was tilted upwards in a 6 degree, in 6 degrees with the head tilting up.
Yeah, so the head part of the bed is, if the bed is around 2 meters long, the head part of the bed was around 20 centimeters higher than the foot end, either by elevating the head part or taking away the legs on the bed, so you lower that part down.
Yeah, and the idea here is that a tilted upwards bed decreases the central venous pressure on in the heart and triggers the release of some volume regulating hormones that promote fluid retention. So they want to see if we sleep in a upward tilted position, we can produce more blood.
Yeah, if that stimulates the erythropoiesis, like you said, that the hormone that makes the body produce more red blood cells, and I found it really interesting that it actually was had a positive effect, and it was actually almost exactly the same as it is with altitude training and the longer version of heat training, when you do heat training for 5 weeks or longer, and that is about 4% more hemoglobin mass.
Yeah, here they saw the participants sleep for 5 weeks, either tilted up or laying still normally, and then they had 5 weeks wash-up period, and then they did the other one. So it's a 15-week study, and as you said, they saw about a 4% higher red blood cell concentration when they slept with the head tilted up.
And I mean, it doesn't get more simple than that, a training intervention or a training concept. And if this actually does. I mean, this is a first study. It wasn't on elite athlete or athletes at all. So
we don't think so. They don't say it in the article, but we don't think it's
no,
athletes.
we suspect that they're not, at least probably not endurance athletes, based on height and weight, kind of how they look. But so, and it's really early, but it's really promising if you can get these kind of effects with such a simple solution.
Yeah, it is. And well, one of the biggest pros here with this type of marginal gain is that it is training while you sleep, so it's incredibly simple. You don't have to do heat training or altitude training or even train at all to improve. In this case, red blood cell volume uh, and blood volume and even hemoglobin mass. The funny thing is that they didn't see any good changes in plasma volume at all, which was a bit interesting.
And that makes you wonder if this technique could be combined with, for example, heat training, which has a large effect on plasma volume, and that's how that stimulates the body to produce more red blood cells. So that's certainly a future study on this.
Yeah, I hope they continue in this way and start doing it on athletes and combine it with training. Because in this one, we don't really know if the participants train at all during this time. We suspect that they are just normal students who don't really train. Because if some of them train and some aren't training, that can of course influence the blood volume for sure. So hopefully none of them trained, and then in the next study everybody trains at some point.
Yeah, and that's also something. I mean, from the study, sure, we saw an increase in hemoglobin mass, but will that cross over to performance? Because that's what we're interested in when it comes to athletics, and that has still to be determined as well.
Yeah, that's something we would like to see in this one as well. That they did a performance kind of test before and after the intervention to see if performance was getting better as well, even if they didn't train during the testing weeks. So to do some kind of VO2 max test or something like that before and after, just well to see if it it moves the performance as well.
Because they did report sleep data, both time in bed and subjective sleep score, and that was not affected negatively. It was the same for both groups, but on the other hand, subjective sleep scores, I wouldn't trust them super hard.
No.
And because, I mean, if you're sleeping in that position, gravity should pull you down, and if you squirm around a little bit when you sleep, like most people do, you should be rolling downwards in bed, and yeah, going down to the foot end, which could lead to you waking up or affecting sleep quality. So I think the jury is out a little bit still on that one, if it could affect sleep quality, which of course could affect performance, even if you get a higher hemoglobin mass.
Yeah, and they reported time spent in bed was 8 hours and 3 minutes in the group with the head tilted upwards, and 8 hours and 4 minutes in the control group, which is 1 minute different. So here we suspect that they only reported time spent in bed, so it was probably between 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. or something like that. They don't really show how much they slept during that time. So it can be 8 hours, it can be 6 hours, it can be 3 hours. We don't really know.
We know it's not more than 8 hours.
Yeah, that we know. If they're not sleepwalking.
Yeah, and I mean that is for me at least the biggest question mark on if this is useful. If it affects sleep negatively, then maybe it's not something to implement. But if it doesn't, then and it seems to carry over to performance and be the same kind of increases in hemoglobin for trained athletes. Well, then this is a golden nugget, I would say.
Yeah, especially if it's possible to combine it with altitude and or heat training and training normally as well, of course. But as you said, if it doesn't affect sleep, we don't know, and maybe you need some time to get used to it, or some nights to get used to it. But if you have 4 or 5 or 7 nights, bad nights sleeping in it, I don't think I would continue doing it just to see if I get better at it.
No, maybe not. And that also the time duration of this intervention. They did it for 5 weeks now. What happens for 10 weeks, for 2 years, and so on? That would also be really interesting. And could there be even more positive effects, or could there be some negative effects that shows up when you do it over time? We don't know.
No, exactly. But as we said, it is a very, very interesting article, and it is incredibly simple to try. Just to lower the foot end of the bed, or to higher the head end of the bed by 20 centimeters if your bed is 200 centimeters long.
Yeah, I
Just
think
to try it out.
yeah, and for someone like me or a lot of people out there, that just tilt your sofa up the same, and then you can your main training is lying in your sofa with your head tilted up, watching the tour or something like that,
Yeah,
or a World Cup race or something.
exactly. But are you gonna try this one, or are you gonna put it on to your athletes maybe?
I think I'm gonna wait for at least one more study before I dare to say to somebody, I think you should try this. But if at least one more is as positive as this one, then why not? Then I would say just start trying it, and but monitor your sleep.
Yeah, I agree. It can be hard to convince your spouse to accept this one, but maybe she does.
Yeah, well, we have twin beds, so I can tilt my side up,
Oh,
and yeah, so that's no problems.
perfect. Yeah. Great. I think that's it. If you want to read this one, I will link it down below. It's just 2 or 3 pages, so it's a pretty short one.
Easy read.
Did you know article? Yeah. But as we said, it was very interesting to get some thoughts and knowledge about this as well, and to get some data, even if it is just 9 participants.
Yeah, a good start.
Good start, yeah. I think that's it for this episode. It was a pretty short one, but hopefully you get some knowledge and thoughts about it.
Yes, short but thought-provoking.
Exactly. And just for Fredrik to get some sleep now, since he's been up for
I'm gonna need it.
a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for today, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And that brings us to the end of this episode of the D-VELO-P Cycling Training Podcast. For more training tips and deeper dives into performance, you can follow us on Substack and check out our blog on our webpage as well. You can of course follow us on our social medias, Instagram and LinkedIn, and of course Facebook. And if you've got any questions or ideas for future topics of the pod, leave a comment below this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening, keep pushing forward, and we'll see you next time.